All right, everyone. Brent Fikowski. I'm here with the Propel Competitor programming. We are going through a new block of training, doing things a little differently with this video. This one is specifically for competitor, using the skills, using the principles that I used to compete at a high level in the sport of fitness, CrossFit, and you can use those too. And I have another video talking about Propel athlete, athleticism, a little different, more power, more jumping, and so on. But this is specifically for those of you that want to compete. So I'm gonna go through this training block. This is a 5-week training block. After this, we're going straight to 4-week training blocks. But this is gonna start November 24th and run to December 28th. Now that last week, we're just gonna do a deload week. We're just gonna do 22 to 28 as that's sort of the holiday week anyway. Just like a single session a day, putting some simple stuff in there. And this stuff really only kind of needs 4 weeks of building anyway. And then after that, starting in the new year, we're doing 4-week blocks. So some things I'll run for 8 weeks. If I really feel I need 8 weeks of progression, like we've been kind of doing with these handstand push-ups, I'll get to that in a second, where there's each block is building on the last block. And then some other things, specifically some skill work, like the burpee box jump overs skill work, that just needs 4 weeks anyway. So let's get into it. This is going through the double day. And then really, if you have the single day, what we have is you're just not doing the zone 2. And then some of the stuff is, essentially going to be optional, right? So you're going to have, and then also you're not doing the power output. I'll kind of get to that. Let's just go into it. So if you're doing double day, Monday, starting with power clean complex. We'll just be changing up the kind of the sets and reps and stuff for that. Then front squat, back squat. A little more maintenance for the front squat, back squat. Not that this is easy, but we have been squatting a lot the last few weeks and squatting heavy. So heavy deadlifts still on a tempo a bit, and then the back squats are just not touch and go, so it should be a little easier. Front squat, rest, and then back squat with the exact same weight on the bar. Good way to get in some higher reps, but you get a little bit of a break. And then these high power output intervals we've got on Monday and on Friday. And those, if you're doing single day, you're just doing one of those a week. Those are a lot of fun. So I was doing those, I think 2.5 years ago now. I would do those kind of cash out some leg strength sessions. Really enjoyed it. Felt it helped. I mean, it's getting more and more common to see, like echo bike, heavy power snatches, right? Stuff like that, or heavy dumbbell. So just these really short, really punchy opportunity to practice some barbell cycling, still kind of get strong. It's in replacement for doing, more power cleans, right? Or more jerks or more heavy snatches. So that's what that's there for. It's gonna be hard, it's gonna be fun. Work on some touch and go, work on some different ways of cleaning and snatching the barbell when we mix up the lifts. Monday afternoon, thrusters and pull-ups. Isn't that beautiful? This week, definitely more CrossFit workouts, right? A lot more of these pieces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's gonna be 6 or 7 workouts here that are basically WODs, and last week there was probably 3 or 4. So more of that, more intensity, more of that, mixed modal, metcons, hard conditioning. Yeah, thrusters and pull-ups. Nothing more to say, right? Each week we're gonna do something a little different. They're gonna keep getting harder. It's one of those things, you have to practice it to get good at it. And something that I did as I got later in my career, which is why those finishes got better. They still were never great, but they definitely got better to where they were when I first started competing, and especially even in the 2020s, 2021s, they got better. Tuesday, calf raises. For those of you that listened to the podcast I did with Jake Tura, talked about reducing the risk of Achilles injuries. So we're building into doing more calf raises, and that's why this is in here too. We'll get to that. So follow the prescription on those and do those well. Next, we have these intervals. I did a lot of these leading up to the Rogue Invitational in 2024, which was these intervals. And so basically what you'll do is you'll start with a really hard, harder than I wanted to, harder than I usually would, even if this was just 4 time, right? So if it was just, I looked at that work and be like, oh, kind of ease into the ski. It's no, hit the ski hard. Go harder than you think you should. Get off, you're oh man, I gotta catch my breath. Okay, do the next part, hard for time. Immediately into the tuck hang. So you're hanging off the pull-up bar, knees up in a tuck hang, hard on the core, hard on the grip. That's gonna help with rope climbs. That's gonna help with big sets of toes to bar. That's gonna help with pegboard. It's gonna help with chest bar. It's gonna help with farmer's carry. It's gonna help with lots of kettlebell swings, touch and go snatches. So really the focus of this is they're hard intervals, it's CrossFit, and you're adding in that core work grip work specifically. That's gonna be the emphasis. That grip work at the end as like a finisher. So I was doing workouts just like this. And then we decided, my coaches and I, like Jeremy Meredith, David Spur, we said, you know what, we need to increase my core or grip strength. We're just gonna add a static hold at the end of what these intervals that I'm already gonna be doing, right? So I'm doing these intervals anyway on movements that need to be worked on. I'm just gonna add in, 30 seconds to a minute of, whether it's farmer's carry, whether it's farmer's hold, whether it's a lot of hanging. I found the dead hanging was the best. And then some shuttle runs. So this is kind of a workout format, but really the format, the intent of that is to do a lot of shuttle runs and to practice your pacing. I think in the notes I've written it, but like a lot of people just, it's shuttle run time, 25 feet, and they just kind of settle into this pace and they have this one pace, whether the workout's 2 minutes or 28 minutes. So working on actually building up that speed. And I find when you emphasize increasing your speed, you're going to learn more about your technique than probably anything I could ever tell you. So you're gonna work on your footwork. You're gonna have to be intentional about how you're turning around if you do in fact increase your speed every time, which you're supposed to. That's the goal. Last, ring muscle ups, bar muscle ups, just bigger sets. That's really the emphasis there. It's just trying to hold on for bigger unbroken sets, even if that is to the detriment of your score. Right, so even if, I didn't go that hard or I didn't go that fast, try and do some larger sets here, pad your ego. A lot of people say, I did those muscle ups unbroken and they get a bad score. That's what I want you to do. I want you to get a bad score, but I want you to do some larger unbroken sets because there is a time and a place for that. And it's also just good mentally, right? If you always believe, the most I can do in a row is 10, I've never done more than 10, if you get to that 11, you get to that 12, you get to that 13, you're gonna develop more confidence. I just have to jump up and do 3, I can do that. That's 25% as opposed to 33% of my max. So big sets, holy smokes, we're running out of time. Handstand push-up, block 2 of 3. So last block was all about high reps. We're doing those big sets, 20 reps at a time, muscle endurance, mostly 4 sets of 20. Burning it down, lots of reps. Now we're going back to a little bit of strength, and then the next block, got something else planned for you. But that's something I've done with some success. And so this is lower rep ranges, right? It's okay to grind it out, 6 to 8 reps. I think this might be 12 this week, but lower rep ranges, it's okay to grind it out. One more, right? It's okay to grind them out. That's not all handstand push-ups. It'll be a lot of strict press and stuff, but variations of pushing overhead. Muscle endurance. This is to keep, honestly, part of it's just to kind of flush things out after this, but it's get a bit of a pump. Arms only, echo bike. We're gonna have some more fun with the variety of this. A lot of this stuff will probably be, if you have battle ropes is a good option too, instead of arms only echo bike, but just to get a pump and just to focus on upper body muscle endurance. Obviously a huge component of what we do in CrossFit, and the people that have really good upper body muscle endurance are gonna do well. Zone 2, we've got 2 zone 2 sessions. This one, machines, this one, ideally you include some running. But just settle in, right? We've done enough zone 2. You should just know what to do there at this point, but find that zone 2 heart rate, stay at it, try to have a consistent pace, try to have a consistent heart rate. If you have to, decrease the pace to keep the heart rate the same. I'll say that again. I would rather you gradually decrease your pace as the workout goes along than keep your pace the exact same and have the heart rate climb. But I do want you to be consistent. I want you to choose a machine or running in this case for at least 20 minutes. So don't just do 5-minute row, 5-minute ski, 5-minute bike, 5-minute row, 5-minute ski, 5-minute run. Hold for 20 minutes on one machine. Thursday, rest day. Friday, snatch, overhead squat complex. Just keep them working on our lifting. Heavy deadlift, no touch and go. Should be a little easier on the back. Still go heavy, but lift well. This is very similar to this, just cash out, power output work on the barbell cycling. This is a lot of fun. So burpee box jump over, just filmed this, I think 3 days ago, filmed all the burpee box jump skill work, 5 weeks of progressions, ending things off with some specific pacing with a metronome. I've got a ton of different drills, got some really good feedback about some of the instructional stuff I've been doing. So every 4 weeks, we're gonna be doing a new skill, and there's gonna be progressions that build week on week. I know I've done that for the handstand walk, I've done that for the bar muscle. I'll probably come back to those movements and teach you something else that I forgot I even knew. But burpee box jump overs this week, you think, burpee, what is there to learn? Well, you're gonna find out. So watch those videos, do those. This is super important. This kind of stuff can be the decision maker. This can be the make or break. This can get you way further than all the power clean complexes in the world. And then finishing with some rebounding box jumps. Again, just conditioning your Achilles to handle load in that manner, just like the calf raise. Saturday, high volume rope climb workout, not legless, just with a pinch, with other movements, but really the emphasis there is just high reps each week, and ideally, I think I'm gonna build each week on the reps for the most part, just to practice those rope climbs with a pinch, right? Practice makes perfect, obviously with some fatigue, but and then cashing out with some weighted strict pull-ups, mostly underhand, but we've been doing a lot of high rep pulling, not a lot of weighted, so we do sometimes heavy rows after the strength sessions, but weighted strict pulling is still super important. And then ending with zone 2, because I love you. That's it. That is the program. And then a lot of those things, if you're just doing single day sessions, you're gonna see those in there. Pretty much everything that's programmed in the single day session. I know sometimes those can be some pretty big sessions, right? Try and keep it in that 60 to 90 minutes, but it's hard to try to compress this into one. So sometimes you're like, oh man, this is gonna be like a 2-hour session. The last thing in each session is intentionally the least important, right? So, the power output. So some of the last pieces, if you're doing a single day, is this, high power output barbell cycling, the upper body muscle endurance, the 2-minute AMRAP with the shuttle runs. Like, yeah, those things are still cool. Those things are still valuable. Please try to do them. But if you can't, not as important as, keeping up with your strength. Whoa! Timing, guys. You get what you pay for. That's it. We've done a big review of this week's training block. I'm really excited. I'm excited to give you that breakdown, keep you excited. And if you've watched all this way, sign up for the Propel program if you're not already signed up. And if you are, hit me up on Train Heroic if you have any questions this training block. Happy November, happy December, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that. Let's get after it.